Hello all, welcome back. So today we are going to build our own server. Okay, so for this we are going to use one of the AWS provided service, and we are going to use Flask for our development purpose. So yeah, let's get it and deploy our first application. So yeah, let's start in a different way. Okay, so yesterday we discussed about what is a system, what is OS, what is the challenges we are facing, and why we move to cloud computing, and what all challenges it's going to solve. But there are many use cases, and it solves many problems. But we eventually going to like see a lot of use cases and how it's going to like solve. But like let's start with yesterday's discussion, okay, and let's move into like how we are going to build our own application and deploy it. Okay, so yesterday we were discussing about laptop. Okay, so laptop is something we discuss like mostly like it's a compute service, or it consists of CPU and RAM. Why we need this is we discussed yesterday. The only purpose of any computer is to run the application or software or program. Okay, that may be any program or application we just want to run, and the only purpose of laptop is to run application or a program. That's it. So you can think like that. This is a software, this is a paint, right? So this is one of the application which might be written in C or C++ or any other some language. It will be run by our operating system or by our laptop, which uses CPU and RAM. So we call it as like compute service. Okay. So now, as I said, now we are going to build our own server. Okay, own server, which is nothing but like we are going to build a program or a application. Okay. So before moving forward, I'll just give like a basic introduction, like what is a server, so that you'll be like having a knowledge like what we are going to build, right? So as I said, in any tech industry, okay, we only are going to focus on the data. Okay, the data is like, as I said, we are going to do some manipulation, or we are going to send some data to someone, or just we are going to entirely like handle the data, creating the data, destroying the data, or whatever we want to do, just we'll do on the data. That's it. So if you have idea like what we are doing, okay, with what is the question, that is with the data. So why we are building an application or program? What server means? Okay, so I'll just give an brief thing. There are like, if there are two people, okay, and let's assume one person needs a uh, let's assume let's assume he needs a pen, okay, and the other person has a, it's like a person one, P1, okay, and P2, okay. So person one and person two, let's assume person one needs a pen, okay, needs a pen, then he will request to this person two, if like I need a pen, okay, then this is called as a request. Okay, we request, that is like P1 is requesting I need a pen to P2. Okay, if P2 has, okay, if P2 has pen, then he will respond like he will give it or not. Okay, so let's assume this person P2 is a very good kind hearted person, then he'll say like take the pen, so he's giving the pen. Okay, this we call this as like response. Okay, so here the P1 is called as a client and P2 is called it as server. So this is like common architecture in entire world. We use it as like client server architecture. Okay, where a client will be asking or requesting something, and server will be giving some response to the client. So this is like a client server architecture, and the role of a server is to provide something. So in terms of technical aspect, the server will be providing only the data. So that's it. So this, if you know what's a server and what is the purpose of it and what it can do, okay, if it has, okay, it gives. That's it. So if you talk it about in terms of a application or a server, it we'll be writing some program or application in some other language, okay, which does operations on data. That may be giving the data or some operations on backend. Okay, let's assume P1 client is asking to write a block to a server. So server has a pen, it will check if it has a pen, it can write a block. If it doesn't have, it will say like I don't have a pen. If it has a pen and writes a block, it says like I've written the block, check it out. So it's like that. So it entirely depends on how you write the program, what's the logic within the server. So now you understood what is a server, what is the purpose of it, how we'll be writing logic in the server with any program or application or any programming language, and what at last finally we are going to do is like to handle the data. That's it. So, but to build a server, you definitely need a compute service. So for this, Amazon has given like if you want a laptop kind of infrastructure, so I have a service called EC2. You can use it. I'll give you a laptop or a compute service. You'll be getting RAM and CPU, and on top of it, I will be like you can just configure it as you need. Okay. So yeah, so this is the basic idea, and how you are going to solve it using Amazon or AWS is with the EC2 service. So let's jump into the hands-on, and I'll show you like a beautiful practical today. So to build a server, and we'll be hitting from a client perspective. Okay. So yeah, let me share my console dashboard. I'll be sharing uh, if possible, I'll be sharing you with the account creation part, okay, which is much easier. Just with your credentials, you can just log in into it. Once you just log in into it, this is the main dashboard, and you can just see like you can explore this dashboard however you want. Like you can just move these widgets and you can explore it. It's up to you. But I'll just show you our practical. Once you click on these dots, or you can search like EC2 over here. But the easiest way to like explore is the search. But if you're not interested, you can just even go from here, and here you can see a name called compute. If you click on that, you can see clearly EC2. As we discussed, this is a compute service, so it's part of compute. So if you click on EC2, it will like land you over here. Okay, we even have like many terminologies for compute service. We call it as VM or instances, okay, or OS or laptop, anything you can call. But in terms of any cloud provider, mostly we will be using like virtual machines or instances. Okay, so if you go and check here, you can see like there is a name called instances, or you can even launch from directly from here. But let me go from this place, which is like a good place to look all the instances which are running. You can check by state and all the things. You can explore these options. But in future, we if there is like any option which is going to like populate, I'll just show it. But right now, you can just come to this page and click on launch instance, and you can just give some name. So no, for now, like we are building a web server. Let's give like web server, or we are building with an Flask, okay, which is one of the framework. I'll just explain you what we're doing. But you can think like Flask app. Okay, this is just like a operating system name, okay, or instance name. That's it. So I just gave like Flask app or Flask server. Now you know that what's the meaning of a server. You can just give like Flask server. You can come down and pick which operating system you want to run, which we call it as like AMI or Amazon Machine Image. This is something like you might have know like ISO, okay, which is used to like you can think like it's like a software, okay, or mini programs which are already written in some programming language, okay, which is indirectly like going to help you run this entire OS. Okay, this is the main software. It has many softwares within it, which is like one main software is like Paint, which is by default given by within this software itself. Okay, so something like that you're having like ISO. Similarly, we are having like AMI in Amazon. They say like whichever operating system you want to use, you can use. You can browse it. You can select what operating system. I'll be like going with the Amazon Linux by default. Okay, you can choose whatever you want, but I'm just going with the free tier. Uh, I'm using this kernel for Linux. We're going to have the Amazon Linux kernel with this version 6.1. You can go with 6.2, but I'm just going with 6.1 for now. And you can just select the architecture, which kind of architecture you want to go, x86 or ARM. But I'm just sticking with default values. And even the CPU, right, 2 core CPU and 1 GB RAM. you can increase it. I'm just going with free tier eligibility, and this is like one of the important thing. Okay, I'll just explain it quickly. So in terms of I just show you these two, right? So in this architecture, there is like client and server architecture. Okay, but the main thing is server should never respond to a client, like who, like it should not send to all the clients, right? Okay, so let's assume a client is there who is like a very confidential person. He says like have like unique thing. Okay, I'll just give it to you, then only try to like give me the response. Okay. So in terms of the unique thing is like we call it as like password or a key. Okay. We'll be learning much more deeply about what is password or key in future classes. But you can think like it's a password where whenever a client sends the password and the request, the server checks the password and say like, yeah, you are a good person and you're not any hacker, and I'll just send it to your with the response, something like that. It'll be like validating it. So that's what we're going to like create a key, okay, or a password. For now, let me just create it. I already have a key, but you can just click create and select PPK. I'll just tell you why PPK. I want to just connect with Putty. Okay, I'll just show you a demonstration with another tool how to connect to the instance. Okay, but you can select PPK for future reference, and you can just give the name, and you can select RSA for now. Okay, and you can just click create. It will create for you. Okay, once it creates, it will show it over here. You can select that one. So I just created already this key, just select on it, and make sure like don't change any network settings. Let it be as like default settings. Okay, and this is a storage. You are going to like ask for like I need 8 GB hard disk, so you just ask for it, it will give for you. That's it. Okay, so you can see clearly that the entire EC2 dashboard itself gives everything like from operating system to CPU and RAM, what type of instance type, and this is like a just login security thing. And this is a network card, like you can think like network card, or there is like a lot of things going on in the backend, but in future we are going to learn these things. uh, and here it's like hard disk, you are going to like ask for a 8 GB hard disk. Okay, that's it. Just don't change any other settings for now. We are just going to build one application and just go and launch one instance. Okay, that means you are asking for one laptop and just launch it. That's it. So it takes like a couple of seconds, let it build, and once it's like built, you can check the log, it's successful, and you just get a ID called instance ID, I hyphen and the ID number. Once click on it, it will redirect you to the instance page, uh, that specific instance. If not, you can just go to EC2 board and click on instances. You can clearly see there are nothing, but just wait for a couple of minutes. When refresh it, you will be seeing like state is in running state. So now, okay, you asked for a laptop and it provided to you. But the challenge is like how you are going to connect to it. So for connecting, for especially for Amazon Linux, when you selected the OS, right, you selected with Amazon Linux, they have an integration with the tool itself, this console. Just go and click once select it, and then just click connect. It will show you like which user you are going to log in and just the IP address and other things. But just you can just go and click on connect. Okay, once you're here, now you can see there is like two things. Okay, there are two kinds of OS. One is GUI kind of OS and CLI kind of OS. There are two OS. Okay, that is the way you are going to operate the OS. Okay, like just now, like we are using Windows over here, which is a GUI kind of interface. Okay, graphical user interface, where you can just click on all the buttons and you can just explore it with the UI. And there is another way to access any operating system is the CLI. So now whatever you're seeing here, this is the CLI mode. Okay, you'll be having commands to interact with the operating system. So I'll be showing this practical in two places, that is in the Windows and even in the Amazon EC2 instance. Okay, so for that, let's build a basic app. Okay, where you'll be having a one single route or API. Okay, we'll be discussing about this API in the next class. Okay, but for now, you can just focus on how you're building the entire server. Okay, so for that, I already have a logic. Okay, I just wrote this sample Flask app. Okay, this is not a big thing, but I'll just quickly answer what we're going to build. Okay, we're going to request this, like it's going to act like a server. Okay, I said like in the server side, we'll be writing the logic of what server is going to provide. Okay. So once client comes and asks like slash greet, okay, the server will be responding like hello world, something like this. Okay. So this is like a small server which is written in Python. So I'll just give one sentence that is Flask is one of the framework. Okay, you can think like a web application framework. Okay, so you don't have to worry about anything. Okay, what is web application, what is framework, and other things. You can think like it has multiple programs within it. Okay, which does some task on what the data. Okay, finally it's going to do some action or some kind of task using some data whatever you provide. Okay, so in this programming language we are using Python, and we have built a web application where which will be running on support. Okay, so before telling like a port IP address, I just want to give a sample brief thing. Okay, that is like how we are going to connect to any two systems. Okay, so there are like you can think like one and two. There are if there are two systems, how you are going to connect with each other. Okay, if you understand this basic thing, then you will be understanding why there are like many terminologies like IP address, port number, and all things. Okay, so let's assume there is like PC or system one, S1, okay, and S2. You can think like system one, system two, or server one or server two. If there are like two PCs or there are two laptops or two computers are connecting to each other, what are the criteria which we need to meet? Okay, there are like many ways to connect. We'll be like normally connecting via wire or wireless. Okay, but once we connect it, we'll be having like two to three things, very important things. Okay, which we need to keep consider while connecting. Okay, there is like we never going to connect to a single laptop. Okay, directly. We always connect to a system to get some data. Okay, or to send some data or to manipulate some data. Okay, there are like few things which we call it as like CRUD operations. That is like create, read, update, delete. Everything is done on data. Okay, so in terms of over a network, okay, we normally use a terminology called like HTTP. It's a protocol. Okay, explain you like what is a protocol. But in terms of you compare with the CURD with HTTP protocol, we have like a, get, post, and other methods. We can discuss these tomorrow. Okay, but for now, just you can think like we are going to do some operations on either of the system. Okay, that is like CURD operations. Okay, but for doing these, you definitely need a software. Okay, always we will be connecting to the system to a specific software on each of the systems. Without a software, you cannot connect to each other. Remember that. Okay. So for connecting to each of the softwares, if the client want to connect to a server, okay, he requires few things. That is IP address, okay, which is a unique address, okay, and we need a port. This port is something like there is one application running. We'll be giving a unique ID to it. Okay, this ID is we call it as like port. Okay, so whenever this client want to connect to a program, he has to provide this ID because there might be many programs running on the server side or in the other laptop. So we definitely need this ID to specify to which program we need to connect. Once we provide the IP address, which is the unique address to entire laptop, and this port is the unique ID to this specific program. If we send these two, you can send it to this specific program. So what we are sending is the data. Okay, these are like the main common things we definitely need to connect to a system. But while connecting over a network or while connecting to two systems, we added security issues. So we came across like we need some authentication. Okay, for any user to come and do some operations on server. So we name it as like username or password. Okay, or a secret key or access key. Okay, depends on who is accessing. If it is a user, we call it as username or password. If it is there is like another system is connecting to admin system, we mostly prefer secret key and access key. Okay, access key and secret key or secret key or access key, something like that. We'll be just using it. Okay, in future we'll be discussing everything, but I'm just giving a brief intro. how two systems connect, to which application we are going to connect, and how securely we are going to connect. Okay, so to connect to any system, we definitely need these things. One is IP address, port, and username and password. These are the four things we definitely need to do any code operations or data manipulations on server side or to the other system. So yeah, this is the basic idea I just want to give you. Now it's much easier to understand what we are doing. We are just building an application on the server side, which is like once client comes and if he wants to greet, we just send like hello world. So I'll just show you quickly how to run this application. Okay, just we need to type like there is a like uh, command. Okay, I'll just paste it here, but just don't bother much. I'll just quickly brief you. I'm just telling like Flask. Okay, this is like one of the framework I said, right? You can just install it using the pip install. I just gave the entire nodes in the README. You can just install it. uh, I'll just share you this GitHub link to you. Okay, but just right now focus on just how we are building the basic application. Okay, just I'm saying like Flask app main, that is like main file. My app is main file, and just run it. Okay. How and where you want to run it is like to the port or 80. Okay. I said right. This is like one of the program you're going to run it on the port 80. Okay. That's a unique ID. You can just change it. But if you don't specify it, use some random ID. But I just don't want to happen like that. That's why I gave 80. By default, I think so. The Flask will be provided set as 80 or some other random number. But just I'm just forcefully making this program to be port 80. And this host, you don't have to provide it right now. This one, okay, in the local host, it definitely goes to local host. Okay, just run it. Okay, you can clearly see it. The Flask app is running app made this file, and the debug mode just ignore these all things. But you can see there is like a link over here, which is a local link. Just copy it or else just click on it. It just redirects here, but you can just click slash create over here, uh, and it shows like hello world. Okay, we'll be discussing much about what is API and why we kept slash create in the future classes. But just focus like what we are building. Okay, we just built an app which is a web application framework. In the backend we use Flask. Okay, and whenever this is a browser, this is acts like a client and request to a server on the port this one and the IP address it just gave. Okay, I'm in the same local network, that's why I don't need any credentials to log in. But if I'm in the same system, that's why I don't need anything. But if I'm in a different system, I definitely need to access to the system. Okay, uh, I don't want to get confused much, but just I'm just giving the basic idea. In future, you will be learning everything detailed while you explore it also. Okay, so I think you got an idea how we are going to run it in locally. But if you want to just set up in your system, you will be just follow these steps. You can just run it in the locally. Okay. Even you can just run Python this main file. It will be running as a Flask server. That's not an issue, but you can just run it. Okay. Let me show this same practical in EC2. Okay, which is Amazon server. Okay. I just have a I need to like just switch to another user. Okay, these are just don't focus on these comments right now. Okay, just focus on the tool, the EC2. This is one of the laptop. What we are doing is the same thing which we are using here. We are going to set up in this system. Okay, and we are going to connect over network inside the Amazon data center. Inside that we have a laptop. We are connecting to that. Okay, we are going to do that practical. This switching user, I need to have like more privileged users. That's why I'm just switching it. Okay, to the root user. I'm in the EC2 user. I don't have much permission, so I'm just switching it. Okay, so I'm in the root user. Now I have few comments. I'll be sharing you with these comments, but just don't focus much on these comments. Okay, I'll just give basic idea what we're doing. Okay, paste. So this is like just I'm just installing Python 3. Okay, which is like installing Python. If you have Python, then you can install this Flask. It's another framework. But for now, I'm just installing Python. Yum is one of the application software tool. Okay, we have DNF or Yum. I'm just using Yum for uh, Amazon Linux applications for this one. Okay, I'm just keeping Y to just accept all everything, all the inner dependencies. It's going to like click yes to it, and it just installs it. Just give a couple of seconds. It just pulls the latest repo and just completes it. Okay. And there is another thing which I need to install is like pip. If you are have already worked on Python, you know already what I'm doing. But if they don't know what is Python, what is pip, just ignore everything. Just focus like we are going to install some software or application which has some privileges in building the application. Okay, that too specifically web application we are building right now. Okay, so the next software we just installed Python and pip. Now we are going to install the Flask, which is a web application framework. Okay, just install it. So it pulls everything and just installs it. Okay. So I just cleared this thing. Okay. Let me just create a folder. Okay. Don't focus on the uh, commands right now. Okay. I'm just creating a folder called basic Flask app. Okay. I'm just creating the mk means make, dir means directory, make directory. Just enter. That's it. If you do cd basic Flask app, or else you can just do like ls to just list what are all folders we have. You can just see these folders are there or files. You can just do cd and Flask uh, basic Flask app. Okay. This is like change directory. You can just go to this directory within the directory. Okay. Just go into it and have this code, right? The same code. Okay. The same code I pushed to my GitHub. I'll just send this code. Okay. Let me go. Uh, let me go to. Okay. Let me go and just log in quickly to show how. Let me do one thing. Yeah. Just pull out this one. Okay, so this is my GitHub account. Okay, I'll share you these links. Okay, once just click on it, the main.py, click on raw. Okay, you'll just end up with the same file which I showed just now, which we set up in the local system. Just copy it. Okay, uh, go to the EC2 instance board. Okay, which is like a CLI thing, right? This is another open operating system. Just come here, just do wget, okay, and paste it. Paste this link. Okay, we are just pulling or downloading this file into our system. That's it. Okay, don't bother about any commands. Just enter it. Okay, it just downloaded all the 100% packets. You can just skip it, but this entirely like networking thing. In future we can discuss these things. But you can just do ls to list. We can see that main.py file has successfully downloaded. Okay, you can do like cat main.py. Okay, which shows the it just prints out the data into the console about the entire file. Okay, if not, you can do use vim or vi to just check it in the editor. Okay, you can see entire app is there which we just built in locally. Okay, uh, yeah, let's run this application. Okay, the application running will be as is the same thing. We are going to just run it over here. Okay, just paste it. uh, I didn't explain you this host 000. Just think like from any IP address you can just connect to this application. Okay, so yeah, you can clearly see that it's running over here. Okay, and how to connect? Okay, this is another challenge we'll be facing. If you copy uh, this port, okay, this one, copy and paste. Similarly, what we did it in uh, similarly what we did it in locally. If you do the same thing, we are going not going to hit it. Okay, this we are hitting to our own local itself. It's not the uh, this AWS application. So now I just stop the server locally. You cannot hit it. So to hit that, what Amazon does is it gives you a IP address, public IP address for free. Just copy it and just go here, paste this IP address over here, and just click it. And you can clearly see it's just loading the page, and you can even just do a inspect and go to network tabs. Okay, and you can clearly see that you don't have any request here. Okay, let me re-trigger it. Uh, okay, but the IP address is a different one. Okay, just click here. You can see there is a request gone, but there is no response to it. Okay, that means a request has sent. from client to server, but server is not giving any response. But we already programmed to give the greet message to the front end or to the client. But once the client is asking for greet, it doesn't provide anything. But in local laptop, we successfully able to like retrieve it because there is no authentication has happened. Okay, but here we didn't specify any authentication. Okay, and we didn't kept any logic behind it to uh, to use it to run it. Okay, to use the credentials to run it. But we can just do one thing. Okay, I know what's the issue. Okay, the thing is there is a security thing. Okay, once you just head over to the security tab and click on the security groups. Okay, these are we already created just now while launching this operating system. Okay, we skip the uh, networking thing as I said, but why we skipped this to show this practical that this challenge how to resolve it. That's why I skipped it. Okay, this is something like, okay, we call it as a firewall in general terminology. Okay, where we'll be having one software over here, like nearby the operating system, or sometimes we'll be keeping within the operating system. Okay, which will be like this is like a safeguard. It will be protecting all from the attackers or some other users to not enter into the system. Okay, or what all requests should I send it to the system? So that configuration we'll be doing over here. Okay, for that we'll be having like inbound and outbound. Okay, it's like you can think like whatever the request comes in, whatever the request should go out. Okay, for now we'll be like changing this inbound and just add a rule like just allow all traffic. But normally we need to allow HTTP, but for now I'm just doing like allow all traffic. And from where is that I'm just setting like anywhere IPv4. Okay, just ignore all these things. You can think like any person can come and click and connect to our system. Okay, save the rules, just refresh it. You can't see anything. You can see now. Okay, once you just change the security changes, okay, and allow everyone to go and connect to the system, that's it. Now you are able to see the response. So now this is like a good hands-on practical that you we just did it, that when a client asks for a greet, it says allow it. You can just change the greet whatever you want to change, and you can restart the server, and you will be able to see it. So this is the practical hands-on I just want to show today. What all we learned today is we learned a lot of things: how to create our own server or software, and how to create our own laptop in AWS using EC2 service, and we deployed our own server in the on AWS VM that is using in AWS EC2, and we connected to it using HTTP protocol. And that's it for today. Have a good day. Bye.